4 quarters and 2 dimes. A shotty in the vest with 2 nines is how I dispute mine.
Talking about shit they ain't never done. Writing rhymes ain't the same as doing crimes.
I need this rent.
I told you I'm figuring something out.
Well, you need to figure it out faster, like today.
I'm broke as shit. Somehow that nigga is always paid.
You grind me like Freddie, you can stay paid too.
No doubt. I'm gonna get this back to you in a couple days, all right? I ain't trying to be on that track again. You know better than anybody, this hustling shit just ain't me.
In flashbacks when I put them bullets in his chest. I'm living with a murder. Fuck, I really might confess.
Welcome back, Top Notch Gang, and as you can see from this video, we're diving into our boy Famous because this has been flying under the radar. He's about to get arrested in episode 5 of Raising Kanan, and at the beginning of the season I had 3 death predictions: Officer Burke, Unique, which looks possible could or could not happen in the next episode, and Famous. And now we see in this next episode, him murdering Freddie is about to come full circle. And we also see in the description of episode 6, it says, "Into the darkness, dangerous secrets were revealed as Famous unburdens himself to Kanan." So him killing Freddie is about to finally come to light. And I also made a whole video, but we're about to re-dive into it, about the song he's gonna release admitting to the killing of Freddie. Finally speaking of his own experience compared to in the past when we saw him rapping about Buck 20, the D-Wiz and Kanan killing, how this is something he finally did himself, the regrets, the nightmares. We're going to dive into the lyrics of everything that comes with it, and then we're going to finally talk about the hard decision Kanan might have to make to take Famous out, to let him go once and for all, even though after all this time Famous has been telling him constantly he was never built and made for this game, just like Kanan's son Sean. We're gonna dive into all of that within this video, so you guys can leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know any other characters you want me to dive into for the remainder of the season. Shit is spicing up, so we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. But let's get into Famous getting arrested for the murder of Freddie, the outcome of all of this, him telling Kanan what happened, and will we see the end of Famous in season 3. Now, getting right into everything, since the very beginning, we knew Famous was focused on his music, wasn't really into the street life. His first introduction of him we get is of him rapping, and we get multiple scenes thereafter saying that he's not really meant for this game. We get a conversation between Juke and Kanan where they both say this:
Famous ain't built for this shit anyway. This is the shit D-Wiz was always down for.
No doubt.
And we also get Famous this season admitting it to himself and saying Kanan knows him better than anyone. He knows he's not built for this game.
I ain't trying to be on that track again. You know better than anybody, this hustling shit just ain't me.
Now, this is very interesting because we see Kanan forced Famous's hand and told him they're gonna work with Sinrad, they're gonna do the courier business. That Famous didn't really have much of a choice.
We fucking with Sinrad on this, and we not talking about it again.
Now, this conversation, of course, came after Famous let Rock in the house, took money from her, and Kanan was pissed. So he kind of forced his hand into the game, just like he did with Sean in the future, trying to convince him to kill Ghost. But we'll get back to that later. Throughout Famous's early rap career, we see he was struggling to write rhymes or anything interesting pertaining to his own life, so he started to outsource and look more towards to what Kanan and D-Wiz actually did. We saw with his first hit song, The Streets Need a Body. Now, we all know that shit was hard as fuck, but when he dropped, he released bars, of course, dissing Buck 20, saying, "Fuck 4 quarters and 2 dimes, shot it in the vest with 2 nines, that's how I salute mine." And we saw Kanan's reaction.
Talking about shit they ain't never done. Writing rhymes ain't the same as doing crimes.
But now we all know at the end of season 2, Famous catches a body himself, needs money, rent is due, he knows Freddie has it, and Kanan has previously robbed Freddie in the past. So Famous saw an opportunity to go and do it himself. He goes and gets a gun from Paloma, I believe was her name, and he attempts to go rob Freddie. Now, this is where all this starts to make perfect sense about him possibly getting arrested in the next episode, because Freddie immediately knows it's him. Now, so even if Freddie didn't survive, he says Famous's name out loud. He pulls the trigger, shoots him in the chest, and when Famous leaves the scene, we see his next door neighbor, Freddy, the next door neighbor right across from him, opens the door. He heard and seen everything that pretty much happened. So a lot of people are gonna say this scene of Famous getting arrested in this next episode could possibly be from their new drug business and everything that's going on with that. But I think this door opening, this neighbor is finally about to come forward and they're about to have evidence to try to bring Famous down. And I think that's why we get Famous admitting all this to Kanan in episode 6, saying he's gonna get this burden off his chest. And this all leads us to Famous dropping and releasing his new hit track, first one since Streets Need a Body, called 411. And now we're about to dive into some of the lyrics, how it connects to him admitting to the killing of Freddy, how it relates to Kanan. What's the 411? What's the 411? I thought the streets were ill until I shot that gun. What's the 411? What's the 411? Thinking about catching bodies, it changed my life done. Having flashbacks when I put the bullets in his chest, cause now I'm paranoid and all I see is death. 411 is a term mostly used for revealing the information, knowledge, or truth about something, which just makes perfect sense. This being the chorus, something he's been holding on to and hiding for so long that in episode 6 he's gonna get rid of this burden and finally tell Kanan. But as you can see from those beginning lyrics, he talks about how catching or killing Freddy changed his whole life, how he has flashbacks about putting the bullets in his chest and how he's paranoid about the whole situation. And he even goes on to say, I just tried to get the dope, I ain't wanna make a mess, now I'm left with the regrets, stuck with the effects, I'm living with a murder, fuck I really might confess. And confessing, I ain't gonna lie dog, that's crazy. We see him get arrested in the next episode, so we're gonna assume he gets out on bail or they don't have enough evidence, they have to let him go, and that leads him to telling Kanan. But the thought about him confessing or admitting this and going away for a long time, especially before he laid down this fire ass track, he gotta spit these bars first. But then most people are probably thinking why he didn't been tell Kanan, he could have got ahead of this. He even referenced Kanan in the song, or at least his homeboy, saying can't talk to my posse cause none of them niggas could fix it. So he felt like he was kind of in this on his own and there wasn't really no way around it. And another interesting line he goes on to say is, what if they talk to residents? And I pointed out earlier in the video how Freddy and Famous were talking in the hallway. He said Famous's name and they made sure to show the neighbor opened the door, most likely heard everything and know what went down.
You ain't gonna do shit, Famous.
Something interesting I want to add, a bit of a prediction. Well, all this is a prediction really, because we don't know if he's arrested for something with the drug shit with him and Kanan or for this murder. But we do know, like I said, in episode 6 he's gonna admit it to Kanan. But something I want to predict is that Ronnie is gonna see Famous get taken by the police. As we know, Ronnie and Kanan is gonna have their first conversation in episode 5, and it's gonna be in front where Famous apartment, and it looks like the same spot Famous gets arrested. Now we already know Ronnie was in that area watching them at the end of episode 3. He was staring them down, and I think he'll be in that area again and he'll see the whole shit pop off with Famous, and he'll be the one to tell Kanan Famous got taken by the police, and this how their first interaction will come to be. And that's what will lead him into asking, does Kanan work for Unique and everything like that, trying to size him up, see if he want to work with him, if he's a threat, if he's a problem. So I think this how Kanan and Ronnie start to get initiated with one another. I think it'll be Ronnie the first person to see Famous get taken by the police. And last but not least, what decision is Kanan gonna make? Now a lot of people think Kanan is gonna be the one, of course, take out his boy Famous, but most of you are probably asking, why would he do that? He had nothing to do with the Freddy murder, it doesn't connect to him, anything like that. But the problem is, I have this theory. Remember the pictures being taken of Rock going into Famous's apartment? I think the feds are gonna try to connect Famous to her and say she paid him to kill Freddy as a threat and try to get Famous to flip on Rock. I think that will cause problems for Kanan and for Rock and lead to them having to possibly take out Famous if he doesn't want to go to jail, if he decides to flip or anything like that. Her going to his apartment and them snapping those pictures of her is gonna come back around to haunt her and be used against them. And I think that's where the decision making will have to come into Kanan if he was the one to take out Famous. Now remember, earlier in the video I mentioned his real name is Sean. Kanan of course went on to name his own son Sean. Now people in my comments was telling me it's just a coincidence they named his best friend Sean, but I don't think so. They could have named, he has two uncles, Marvin and Lou. They could have named Sean, could have named Unique Sean, Ronnie Sean. They could have named Howard, his dad, Sean, but no, they chose his best friend, someone he's with every day, because I think he would have a big impactful. That both Sean's relate in a lot of ways. They were never built or made for the game, but they was forced into it by other people. We saw how it ended with Kanan's son Sean, and a lot of people think it's gonna be the same for his best friend Famous. Overall though, that's it for this video. You guys could let me know what you think about this theory and prediction down below in the comments. Do you think Famous is getting arrested for that murder or just for some drug shit him and Kanan got going on currently? How Ronnie, Rock, or anyone else could be involved in this situation? And let me know what you think of the song 411. You go check out the full song out on YouTube already. I've been listening to it for weeks. And once again though, let me know any other characters you want to see me do a deep dive like this into a video on their outcome for the rest of the season or for the future of the show. As usual, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.